The Winning Source for Jesus podcast. My name is Paul Thomas. Welcome to another episode. God bless you all. Today we are discussing one of the most significant and inspirational topic. This topic is essential to everybody. This topic is what kinds of life will you love to live, or what kinds of life will you live? You see, decision making is very, very critical within our life. What kinds of life do you want to live? Not the life you talk about, not the life you imagine, but choosing today, because success is not an accident and failure is not a surprise. Success is a choice and failures is a decision. That's why scriptures told us plainly, I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore, choose life, trusting at the center of destiny. No excuses, no illusions, no borrowed convictions. You see, many want the fruit of success without the root of discipline. They want outcome without obedience, crown without crosses, harvest without sowing. But discipline is the bridge. Discipline carries desire into destiny. Comprehend that well. Aspiration without discipline is fantasy, and discipline without aspiration is generate. But when aspiration is anchored to discipline, progress becomes inevitable. And yet, hear this clearly, contentment is not the enemy of ambitions. Contentment is not complacency. Contentment is alignment. The apostle taught us to be content in every circumstances, not because life is so easy, but because purpose is settled. Contentment steadied the soul, so ambition does not become adultery. It keeps success from corrupting characters and preventing striving from harrowing the heart. A disciplined life asks better questions. What habit am I defending? What distractions am I tolerating? What comfort are costing me my calling? Because every day, whether you acknowledge it or not, you are voting for the person you're becoming. Success is built quietly. It's not built with noise. In an unseen obedience, success is built quietly in an unseen obedience. In early morning, in guarded thought, in restraining appetite, in consistent faithfulness. Failures is also built quietly through delay, through compromise, through excuses dressed up with a reason. You see, this podcast exists to confront that trust, not to flatter you, not to entertain, but to call you higher into disciplined living, holy aspirations, and grounded contentment. You were not created for drift. You were created for stewardship of time, of talent, of purpose. So again, I ask you very relevant questions. What kinds of life will you live? Because the life you desire is not waiting on motivations. It is waiting on decisions. Every meaningful life begins with a choice. I want you to comprehend this well. Every meaningful life begins with a choice, not a feelings, not a box of motivations, a decisions. From the opening passage of scriptures, God addressing humanity as moral agent. People entrusted with choice. That's what scripture says, choose this day who you will serve. That command assumes responsibility. It assumes that neutrality is a myth. Sources, biblically understood, it is not merely achievement, it is alignment. Alignment between beliefs and behaviors. Between convictions and conduct. Between calling and daily practice. Failures, therefore, is roughly sudden. It is a cumulative. It forms when discipline is postponed, when obedience is negotiated, when truth is known but deferred. You do not drift into a disciplined life. You do not slumber into excellence. You do not wake up one day faithful. Faithfulness is built decisions by decisions. That's why scripture reminds us that diligent hand make riches, not merely in material terms, but in wisdom and stability and spiritual depth. Diligence is a posture of the will. It is the repeat choices to do what is right when it is not convenience. Many confuse desire with directions. They say, I want more. But they keep choosing less. They say, I want change. But they protect the habit that produce stagnations. This is where discipline enters, not as a punishment, but as a mercy. Discipline train desires. Hear me clear. Discipline train desires. It orders appetite. It teaches the soul to submit short-term comfort for long-term food. Discipline is not legalism. It is love in actions. That's why scripture said, for who the Lord loved, he disciplined. For who the Lord loved, he disciplined. Why? Because undisciplined desire becomes destructive. Unrestrained freedom becomes bondage. And yet this carefully. Failure is not proof that you are incapable. It is evident that a different decision is required. Contentment angle this process. Biblical contentment does not say, I will not grow. It says, I will grow without selling my soul, without compromising my soul. Contentment free you from comparisons. It brings the life that success was being loved, fast, or validated by a plot. It allows you to pursue excellence without anxiety and ambitions without arrogance. The question is no longer, what do I want? The real authentic question is, what am I choosing? Because your life is not shaped by your intentions. It is shaped by your discipline, your truth, your choice you make on a daily perspective of your life. If choice set directions, discipline builds structures. No life drift upward, no character formed by accident, no destiny survive without order. Discipline is not a personality trait. Discipline is not a personality trait. It is a practice of obedience. That's why scripture is consistently tied faithfulness to structures, sowing and reaping, training and reward, conscience and growth. God does not bless disorder and then hope it become holy. You call his people into the alignment, body, mind, and spirit. Discipline is the willingness to govern ourselves, so you are not governed by appetite. Most life are not run by tragedy. They are eroded by tolerance, tolerating lateness, tolerating distractions, tolerating laziness just has rest, tolerating compromise level has balance. And slowly, quietly, potential leak up. Discipline tell the truth to desires. It says, not everything you want is worthy of you. Not everything you feel deserve obedience. Not everything you feel deserve obedience. Not every open door will lead to life. The disciplined life understand timing. The disciplined life understand time. It understand restraint. It understand that saying no today is often how you say yes to your future. Many pray for breakthrough while resisting. Many pray for breakthrough while resisting structures. They ask for elevations without preparations. They want favor, but avoid formations. But scripture is ambiguously. Training perceive, wrestling. Athletes train for the faith, cry, discipline train, a crime that endure. Discipline is how faith becomes visible. It is the belief translated into habit. Your schedule reveals your priorities. Your habit exposes your values. Your consistency testifies what you truly believe. You do not have to rise to the level of Ephesians. You fall to the level of your discipline. And where discipline is absent, excuses multiply. This is where contentment guards the soul. Discipline without contentment becomes tyrannic. Discipline without commitment becomes tyrannic. And contentment without discipline becomes stagnations. Together they produce peace with progress. The ability to work hard without worshiping result. To strive without surrounding identity. Discipline does not make you ready. It makes you free. Free for chaos. Emotional fatality. Free from being ruled but urgent instead of the and faithfulness over time built the reminder, the witness, and the legacy you will leave behind. Aspirations answer the questions. What am I reaching for? Contentment answer that deep questions. Who am I? Why I reach? Scripture never condemned calling aspirations. It condemned disorder, desire, fruit. The words of God call us to press forward, to run the race, to grow in grace, to bear more fruit. Stagnation is not spirituous maturity, but is restless. The word of God calls to press forward, to run the race, to grow in grace, to bear fruit. Stagnation is not maturity, but neither is restless striving. Aspirations become dangerous when replace obedience. Aspiration become dangerous when it replaces obedience. When success become identity. When progress become permissions to compromise. This is how ambition turns into predatory. Into predatory. How calling become competitions, how growth become comparisons, how blessings become bondage. Biblical contentment is not resignations, it is submissions. It called, I am at peace with where God has placed me, while remaining faithful to where He is leading me. The disciple learned contentment. The apostle, the disciple learned contentment in abundance and in lack, not because circumstances were stable, but because identity was settled. Contentment anchored the soul, so aspiration does not pull it apart. I want you to comprehend this well. Don't just listen, but I want you to comprehend this well. Aspiration rooted in pride demands speed. Aspiration rooted in calling respect process. God is never in a hurry, but He is always on time. Impatience tells you to shortcut formations. Contentment gives you the strength to endure it. See the difference. Hear this clearly. I want you to hear this vividly. You do not need more validations. You need more faithfulness. You do not need loud applause. You need deepest obedience. When aspiration outgrown characters, collapse follow. When aspiration submit to character, legacy form. Contentment protects you from envying another person. Contentment protects you from envying another person's season while despising your own. It reminds you that God measures success by faithfulness, not visibility, by obedience, not outcome. Aspiration keep you moving forward. Contentment keep you grounded. Aspirations fuel effort. Contentment preserve joy. Together they form a life that grows. Together they form a life that grows without rooting advantage, without arrogance, succeed without surrounding the soul. So aspiration boldly, but submit deeply. Pursue excellence, but guard your heart. Reach forward, but remain rooted. Because the greatest failure is not falling short of your dream. It is achieving them while losing yourself. I want you to articulate that well. I want you to take that in well. Every life is moving in a direction, not accidentally, not mysteriously, but deliberately. Whether you submit it or not, Whether you submit it or not, your decisions are written a story, and scripture is uncompromising on this truth. A man reap what he sowed, not what he intended, not what he hoped, what he sowed. We live in a culture that celebrates potentials but resists accountability. Everyone wants opportunities, few want responsibility. Yet responsibility is the way that gives meaning to freedom. Without responsibility, freedom degenerates into indulgent. Without consequences, trust loses seriousness. God never separates love from accountability. He never offers grace as an excuse to remain unchanged. Grace is power for transformation, not permissions for stagnations. You are responsible for what you allow, for what you repeat, for what you excuse, for what you tolerate. What do you tolerate today? This is a unique question for you. What do you tolerate today? What you tolerate today become what you normalize tomorrow. And what you normalize eventually define you. Most of you compromise yourself because of the lust of this world. You do not want to wait. You do not want to wait on the appropriate time of God. That's why what you normalize eventually define you. Failures often disguise itself as victimhood. Failures often disguise itself as victimhood. It had no choice. This is just how I am. This is just how I am. This is just how I am. The system is against me. The system is against me. But scriptures conform that lie with clarity. Be transformed by the renewal of your mind. By the renewals of your mind. Renewal assumes urgency. Change assumes participations. Growth assumes obedience. You are not powerless. You are accountable. And that truth is not meant to crush you. It meant to awaken you. Because if choices build your chain, choices can also break them. The choice you make. Most of you make poor decisions and little regret. This is where discipline, aspiration, and contentment converge. Discipline says, I will govern myself. Aspiration says, I will move forward. Contentment says, I will not betray my soul to get there. Together, they form a life that is bared weight. Together, they form a life that bear weight. A life that can be withstand pressure, delay, corrections, and blessings without compromising. And blessings without collapsing. And blessings without compromising. Responsibility is the divided line between regret and legacy. One path leads to excuse making, bitterness, and want. One path leads to excuse making, bitterness, and wasted years. The other leads to growth, humanity, and quiet strength. And no one can walk it for you, yourself. Yourself. The life you are becoming is not determined by one. dramatic movement. It is reshifted. It is shifted. It is shift. It is shift by daily submissions, by repeated obedience, by honest self-examinations. So I will urge you today, take responsibility. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Because the movement you own, your choices, is the movement your future become to change. You have heard the truth plainly. You have heard the truth plainly. Life is not shaped by witches. It is forged by choices. Success is choosing. Success is choosing daily. Success is choosing daily, deliberately, faithfully. Failures is decided quietly, repeatedly, carelessly. And you now understand the framework. And you now understand the realistic framework. Trust set directions. Discipline builds structures. Aspiration pull you forward. Contentment keep your soul intact. Responsibility seal the outcome. None of this is abstract. All of it is personal. Scripture never leaves us neutral. It conforms us with a question that echoes truth alternative. Will you hear and obey, or hear and delay? Delay is not harmless. Postponement is not wisdom. Delay is not harmless. Postponement. Delay is not harmless. Postponement is not wisdom. Tomorrow is not promised, but obedience is available now. You do not need a new year to give a whole lot of resolutions. You do not need a new year to give a whole lot of resolutions, a new job, or a new season to begin living rightfully. You need a settled decisions. Decide what kinds of life you will live. Decide what kinds of habit you will no longer excuse. Decide what kinds of discipline you will embrace. Decide what kinds of ambitions you will submit to God rather than idolize. Because heaven honors faithfulness, not halves. God rewards obedience, not intentions. This war is loud, rush, distractive, but the disciplined life is quiet, standard, and unshakable. A life anchored in truth does not collapse under pressures. A life anchored in truth does not collapse under pressure. A life governed by discipline does not lose its soul. A life anchored in truth does not collapse under pressures. A life governed by discipline does not drift into regret. A life guided by godly aspirations and holy contentment does not lose its soul. So has this episode closed? Let this be your result. I will choose life. I will submit to a discipline. I will aspire without compromise. I will remain content without complacent. I will remain content without complacent. I will take responsibility before God. because the life you are becoming is because the life you are becoming is the sermon you are preaching to the world. Choose wisely. Choose wisely and vividly, and put God at the center of your destiny. You cannot do all of those wise words or all of those habits or all of those mindset without God. You need God to be in the center of your destiny. Support God first. Believe in Jesus Christ as the Son of God and live in the comfort of God. Jesus loves you. Be faithful and let the blessings of God be upon you. God bless you. This is a Winning Souls for Jesus podcast. My name is Paul Thomas. God bless.